This is John Wayne Mercure, the Sonneteer, from beautiful, beautiful Chandler, Arizona. It's great here. You love it here. And I'm talking to you now about something we all got to pay attention to. Arizona Academy, for one. 1,326. That's the number of this sonnet. We need to abolish all failing public schools. Arizona Academy is private school. They're great. We got to abolish all failing public schools. There's millions of teenagers that can't read. I don't understand that. What is wrong with teachers? You get tenure and then you just retire? You read the chapter there and do the questions at the end and don't look up while I read my Playboy and my Cosmopolitan magazine. I got more important things to do than mess with you. You're a nuisance. Don't look up. Read that chapter. Do those questions. You'll learn. That's what they teach now, nothing. They don't even teach American history anymore. That's shameful. Those people died for this country. They don't even know how costly it was for the Civil War to have 666,000 Americans murdered because the Democrats wanted to keep their slaves. Well, now the Democrats want to enslave everybody because they want to be God, and the government's going to be God, and they're going to run everything. Well, I'm telling you, the public schools have a lot to do with it, too. What's wrong with teachers? Lessons unlearned. There's no school choice. It's an American disaster. You send your kid to the public school. Most of them are dysfunctional, to say the best about them. And a lot of them are plain disasters. In Baltimore, there's 14 public high schools, and there's none of those kids that can measure up with mathematics or reading. How could that happen? How can they be citizens? How can they get into college? Well, in college, they have remedial reading. They have remedial mathematics. They're going to try to fix it. Well, America was once number one in the world. We are now dismally 24th. What happened? An ultra-fast glide down into failure with no future recourse. A student who cannot read has no future at all in this world. Absent basic knowledge in mathematics, a student is doomed. Doomed. Because mathematics is money. That's what it is. Without math, a student can never bloom. He can't do science. He can't do accounting. He can't do anything that has to do with money or science or chemistry. Well, computers will soon run everything. And these students that don't keep up, robotics, automation, they're going to not have a job. They better wake up. And I'm talking to you students out there. Why do you listen to these communist professors, these communist teachers? Oh, we're going to share. Everything's going to be free. We're going to give you free college. We're going to give you government cheese. The National Education Association, I'm so angry about them. I have steam coming out of my ears. They're guilty of high treason. It's their fault. They don't want competition. They don't want private schools. The American Federation of Teachers, they're just as guilty of malfeasance, of major crimes. They don't want competition. Who else is to blame that millions of kids can't read? But teachers' unions. Supreme incompetence. Who else is responsible for the millions of students who have no real chance? Without reading, nothing is possible. Everybody knows that fact. It was told to me, I think, by Mark Twain, that someone who doesn't read has no advantage over somebody that can't read. It's the same thing. You don't want to learn. You don't want to know. You want to be an idiot all your life. You don't want to have a specialty. You want to be paid for your talents. Dropouts. I keep thinking about the dropouts and it breaks my heart because they got nothing. They're facing permanent unemployment. Their deck is stacked against them. Minimum wages are guaranteed to them. They'll always be minimum wage. They'll always have menial jobs that nobody else wants. And they'll do them because they don't have a choice. They want to eat. You think they're going to give you enough to eat? You think that, huh? Hijack futures, destroying young lives. You parents out there, think of what they're doing to your kids. These kids are condemned to poverty. They're forced into gangs, try to find some love somewhere. Someone's in the same boat. And now we got these same kids, these mobs rampaging without hope. Vandals, thugs, bottomless rage. Who do you think is to blame for that? That those kids, I'll bet those mobs, I'll bet they can't even read. And a lot of them are in universities with communist professors who tell them, go out and riot. Go out and tear the country down. Communists. Well, there's lots of fingers pointing in all directions. Blame everybody all around. That's the way you get out of it. Blame everybody else. The savage outrage that's out there now. And then there's these sewer lawyers. They defend students who create havoc in every class. Every class has one of these idiots that wants to be the attention. And during that time, there's no learning going on. And then they're in every class. And there's no discipline. And that's really what's wrong. There's no discipline. You have administrators that won't do their jobs. They're hiding behind their desk. They're covering their own asses. No learning is going on in those public schools. That's a fact. So, abolish those schools that are failures, unable to act. They're not producing anything. Why have them? Dr. Thomas Sowell, I really like him. I listen to every word he says. He's a professor emeritus, Stanford University. Stanford has really good records on everything. And Thomas Sowell, they're lucky to have him. He's my hero. He has a book. It's called Charter Schools and Their Enemies. And he puts his cards right on the table that the answer to incompetence in public schools is charter schools and parental vouchers. And my hero Donald Trump wants to give parental vouchers so the parents can pick a good school for their kids. And these other schools, I don't know, they can't be around. We got to get rid of them because charter schools have real teaching, independent accreditation. They're accredited. They have much better discipline. They don't put up with any crap. They'll just find another school. They don't want you there. If you're incorrigible, it's your life. You can't make somebody learn. You can't. It goes in one ear and out the other. They want to have to learn. They want to have to, I want to know. Better discipline, real learning for a change in private schools, real action. A proven standard of achievement. All those charter schools have to have achievement. And I'll tell you why. Because if they don't, they go out of business. They're not going to last long because they're not proving that they're teaching anything. None of the usual excuses. No fraudulent dog and pony shows the way the public schools do. Oh, look at all the good we're doing when the kids can't read. Charter schools are thwarted by the NEA, the National Education Association, and the AFT, the American Federation of Teachers. They hate competition. They don't want any competition. This is really bad. There's empty schools all over. And they won't let the charter schools be in those schools. They'd rather tear those schools down. They won't let anybody have those charter schools, those schools that are empty for charter schools. That is so cruel. They're actually killing kids by not allowing competition, by not letting charter schools be in public schools that have been closed for incompetence. We need to have charter schools. And I'll tell you, if you're not listening to this, then I guess there is no hope. There's a guy named Jeffrey Canada. He's my hero. He's got more than 300 charter schools. They're called KIPP schools. I like it, KIPP schools. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Jeffrey Canada, he's a genius. Look him up on the internet. We need schools like Jeffrey Canada has. And parochial schools are great too. I'll tell you, those nuns and those priests, they'll teach you what you need to know. They're going to tell you something about religion too, but it's worth it. I've been through all of that, and it was worth it. Charter schools are at war with public schools. I know it's really hard to sit there and think, oh, I love my public school, really? And it's not teaching your kid to read, and your kid comes home but doesn't have any homework, and you can't help him because he doesn't have any homework. And even if he did, the teacher probably doesn't even know it himself. There's some really bad teachers out there, and they get covered to the death by the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association. They'll defend them no matter what. Why? Because those executives in the AFT and NEA, they get paid huge salaries to keep everybody quiet and keep no trouble. We're going to fix it for you. Just believe in us. There's millions of kids can't read, but we'll work it out. When? These kids, there's millions of them. There's millions of kids that can't read. I don't understand, and I'm angry. And you ought to be angry too. It's the Democrats. You don't think it's them, it's the Democrats. Look at Baltimore, run by the Democrats. They destroyed that city. They destroyed Chicago. They destroyed New York. They destroyed Los Angeles. They destroyed Seattle. They destroyed Portland. There's no learning going on there. I mean, they have, what, 13% income tax in California? Where does all that money go? The whole state has gone to hell. Communist California. And I'm just telling you, the schools are no learning going on there either. And I'm just telling you, we got to abolish all failing public schools now. And why can't we? You got to rise up. Why are you letting all these punks run everything? They're coming for you. They're coming for you. And you think you're going to be exempt? You're not going to be exempt. We Republicans, we radical Yankee Republicans, got to unite. We got to say, enough of this. We've had enough. Just before the Civil War, you pushed us to the point it was war. It's going to happen again. And I'll tell you something, you Democrats, you're not going to win that one either. We'll shoot you down like dogs. You think we won't? You push us too far. You push us too far, and it'll be the second Civil War. I've already said so in one of my sonnets. It's happening right now. And you Republicans out there, I need your help. We got to abolish all failing public schools, and we got to make sure kids can read so they can have a talent, so they can get paid for their talents, which is capitalism. And socialism, oh, we're going to pay for everything. Don't worry. Just vote for us. We're God. Ask God. Ask us. Ask God. Ask the Democrats. Democrats, they worship the devil. Did you know that? Alinsky Democrats? Hillary Clinton? Her mentor at Wellesley was Saul Alinsky, who worshiped the devil. You really look at her. All this crap about resist, trying to help our country. I couldn't stand Osama Obama, but I respected the office of the presidency. And he thinks he's so great. He's a good speaker. But he's terrible. He's the worst president this country has ever had. And that hurts me a lot. Why? Because he could have been the greatest. He didn't do anything to help the murders in Chicago. He didn't do anything to help black people. Hey, I just want people out there to be able to read. Is that so hard a request? Can't we mentor each other to help each other, help kids read? God bless you all. Yet to make Hebrews M. Oh, wow, mes amis.